Um, yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like compile some videos and that kind of thing, and I don't know, whatever. I'm just gonna do whatever I want to. But I got a couple of comments on the brief clip where I had that meltdown in the Papanui Mall, Northlands, and I was wearing the sort of cream and brown striped t-shirt, crying. A very short video. Um, and what was quite funny, I meant to follow up about that. Like, I was really trying to pull myself together before I went into the supermarket, and I didn't manage to, and I was just wandering around, sort of crying, and I'm just so used to wandering around crying. Um, it's sort of like I kind of care, but I kind of don't care. Like, no one else seems to fucking care, so whatever. Um, and the thing that, like, the intervention was it was really fun. I mean, it's a funny story, and I wasn't gonna tell it because I wanted to have some privacy for the woman, but I don't think I'm gonna say anything identifying. Um, anyway, I was just trying to grab a couple of things before my bus came, and I was in the wine section just trying to find some, like, I ended up getting a couple of cans of cider. And I was in the just by the wine aisle, and this woman comes up, and she's petite, like shorter than me. I'm 5'4", so I guess she would be 5'3" or 5'2.5", and blonde, but she's wearing a flat cap. But later on, when we were talking, I could see that she really did look like. Yeah, she looked a lot like Sharon Stone, actually, and I guess she was about my age. So, she wasn't wearing makeup or anything, but she would have been, yeah, pretty, like, yeah, no, she was quite a good-looking woman, and she was a very petite little body with little denim sort of shorts and stuff, and um, she approached me, and she was holding um, like a couple of stems of flowers wrapped in cellophane, and a watermelon, and she sort of approached me like, um, I know she didn't think that I was a sales assistant, but she sort of approached me like I was that sort of assistant, and she was just like, I don't think I want this cucumber. And I said, and then I said, oh, okay. And she's like, I'm really sorry, I'm really wasted. And I said, oh, that's okay. I said, are you having a really hard time? And she went, yes, and she crumbled. And I said, would you like a hug? And she said, yeah. So we had a hug. And then she's like, oh my God, you're really holistic, aren't you? And I'm like, I don't know, but I've been through some shit. So I kind of understand crying in the supermarket. And she's like, and she starts going on about the watermelon again. She says, it's not even a cucumber, it's a watermelon, and I don't want it. And I said, would you like me to put it back for you? And she said, yes, please. And she said, I have to go outside for a cigarette. And I said, okay, I'll meet you outside. So I went and put a watermelon back. And then I went, finished my stuff, and then I eventually located her, and it was like really cold, but we sat down and she said, had a ciggy. Anyway, she was having a meltdown, and I thought she was, when she said she was wasted, like I thought she was maybe on some drugs, but she was just really drunk on vodka, and and this is where I protect her privacy, she was just going through a really traumatic, triggering kind of experience with family. Like, there was it wasn't an anniversary, but it was like that kind of trigger where something really symbolic was happening for her that was bringing back a lot of her own personal trauma, connected to family, and she was just not having a good time. And as like one of the things, I would really like to survive what I'm going through, because I feel like I could really help some people. I mean, that's pretty ambitious, but I feel that I've got skills and insights now that I didn't have before that I could put to use. And even if it's just like rescuing one or two fucking broken people, even temporarily, I really feel like that has got to be my calling. And I still don't know if I'm going to be dead or alive in a week or whatever. Like, I still don't know, and that's a scary feeling. I really wish that I really wish I could just make a wholesale decision about it, because it gets harder each time, like sometimes I wish that I had died. Sometimes I think I have died, and I'm a weird ghost in limbo. And then other times, I do think, well, things are getting better. I'm glad I didn't, but I just don't know, so I can't see into my future. But she was pretty wasted, and I think that she was a bit of an eccentric as well. Like, she was sort of she was wailing about a sort of a whole bunch of stuff. Like, firstly, that there was like some chick walking along in, I guess, short shorts, like she was wearing. She's like, I used to have an ass like that, I'm never gonna have an ass like that again. And it's like, all right, let's get things into perspective here. And then she saw someone riding a bicycle, and she's like, I'm never gonna be able to ride a bicycle again. And I'm like, okay. So I don't know if this is the vodka speaking or what, but anyway, she was having a hard time, and she was like, "Are you my angel?" And I said, I don't think so. I think I'm far too irritating to be your angel, but I get it." And she says, "I feel so ashamed. I feel so ashamed. Like, how embarrassing just to come up to you like that." And I said, "Well, I don't feel embarrassment and shame anymore. Unless I've done something to personally to earn that shame, and approaching someone when you're having a meltdown, to me that's not embarrassing. And if someone else has caused you to, because I now understand that people do, if humans have limits and humans have impact on other humans, then other people are at least partially culpable for one's meltdown, and sometimes wholly culpable for it, because there is an inexorable pathway to a breakdown given enough abuse. And I don't know what she's been through, if she's been abused, but she did say she'd been beaten by her ex-husband and that kind of thing. Whatever, I just said, look, it's not a matter for embarrassment as far as I'm concerned. But so I walked her back to her place, which wasn't too far away. I sort of, I'll just catch the bus later, which I did. And then she was telling me about this cat in the neighbourhood who was stealing people's clothes. And I said, I read a story about that a few years ago about this cat, and it was like stealing people's underwear. And she's like, this cat is stealing people's underwear. And lo and behold, we are looking down the street, and like there's all this like fucking underwear and some baby's clothes and stuff like that just strewn around the gutter all over the show. It was really hilarious. So we went around collecting it all, and she was talking about taking it home and washing it. I'm like, do not take it home and wash it. And it was windy, so we stuck it in a tree, and it's like, look, what are you gonna do? Cat's gonna cat. And but so we did a little bit of a good deed there. Anyway, she was under the impression that I was going to come into her house and we were going to keep hanging out, but I said, I'm fucking having actually a real bad day, and I just need to go home. But it just like, fucking talk about circuit breakers. Anyway, at one point she said, where's my watermelon? And I'm like, you mean you're a cucumber? And she's like, it's not a cucumber, you can't fool me. And I'm like, oh, you got to get up pretty early in the day to fool you, eh? And I said, don't you remember I put it back for you? And she said, oh, that's a bit rude. Anyway, it was just very funny. And we swapped numbers, and well, yeah, whatever in the spot, and I did follow up with her because she seemed to want some ongoing support, and you know, like I do what I can, but she hasn't replied, so that's cool. And I think that she was extraordinarily drunk, and I would imagine that once she'd sobered up, she probably wouldn't even remember meeting me. Yeah, but anyway, that was sort of quite funny, so I might just tag that onto that other video where people are going, what's that?